The distress beacon cut through the void like a scream in silence. Elena's three-fingered hand trembled over the communication console as the message repeated in her native Velkan tongue. Colony under siege. Requesting immediate assistance. We have minutes left. Beside her, Ambassador Krell's crystalline form flickered with distress. The Wraiths have found us. After all these years of hiding, they've finally found us. Elena looked at the view screen showing her dying world below. New Velka, humanity's gift to her people after Earth, had welcomed them as refugees decades ago. Now, the dark ships of the Wraith Collective descended like locusts, their weapons carving scars of fire across the colony's protective shields. Send the beacon to Earth, she whispered, though hope felt like a cruel joke. Maybe they'll remember. Krell's laugh was bitter, musical. Remember? Elena, it's been 15 years. Why would they risk their fleet for a small colony of aliens on the edge of known space? We saved one human. One. But Elena remembered that day as if it were yesterday, 15 years earlier. The human's ship had been dying when they found it. A small research vessel caught in a meteor storm. Life support failing, oxygen at critical levels. Most species would have ignored the drifting wreckage. Space was cruel, and survival meant not wasting resources on the already dead. But Elena had been young then, newly assigned to her patrol ship, and something in the desperate human broadcasts had touched her. The voice had been calm despite the terror. A young man named Adam, recording his final logs with scientific precision even as death approached. If anyone finds this, his voice had crackled through static. Tell my family I was thinking of them. Tell them the nebula here is beautiful. Tell them I tried. She'd convinced her captain to divert course. They'd burned through a week's worth of fuel to reach him in time. When they pulled Adam Chen from his dying ship, he'd been unconscious, nearly frozen, his dark hair crusted with frost. For 3 weeks, Elena had tended to him as her ship limped toward the nearest human outpost. She'd learned his language through the ship's translator, shared stories of their respective worlds, and discovered that humans, despite their reputation as aggressive expansionists, could be gentle, funny, and infinitely curious. Why did you save me? Adam had asked on his last night aboard, his brown eyes serious. Your captain said it was illogical. Dangerous even. Elena had struggled for words. Because your last message. You were dying and you still saw beauty. That seemed worth saving. Adam had smiled then, an expression that transformed his entire face. My people have a saying. A life saved is a debt that spans lifetimes. I don't know how, but someday I'll repay this. She'd thought it was just human sentimentality. A nice thought from a grateful survivor. Present day, shields at 30%. The tactical officer reported, his voice breaking. The Northern District is gone. They're targeting evacuation ships. Elena watched another transport explode in orbit, taking 300 souls with it. Her people, artists, teachers, children, vaporized in an instant. The Wraith Collective didn't take prisoners. They harvested resources and eliminated witnesses. How long until Earth responds? She asked quietly. The communications officer, young Mira, shook her head. No response yet. The beacon reached them 17 minutes ago. Even if they sent ships immediately, the nearest human fleet is at least 40 minutes away at maximum FTL. We have, she checked her console, maybe 12 minutes before total shield failure. 12 minutes. Elena closed her eyes. She'd lived a good life, saved one human, raised 2 children of her own, served her people with honor. If this was the end, ma'am, Mira's voice cracked with shock. I'm reading. This can't be right. I'm reading hundreds of FTL signatures, emerging from hyperspace at the system's edge. The view screen shifted. Elena's breath caught. They came like vengeful gods, not 1 fleet but 7. Earth's 3rd Fleet, the 5th, the 8th, the Martian Defense Force, the Titan Expeditionary, the Europa Guard, even the legendary 1st Fleet, Earth's pride, which never left the Sol system, and at their head, broadcasting on all frequencies, was a single voice she'd never forgotten. New Velka Colony. This is Admiral Adam Chen of the UES Indomitable. I believe you called for assistance, Adam. Elena whispered, disbelieving. 15 years ago, a Velkan patrol ship diverted from their mission to save a dying human. They burned through fuel they couldn't spare. They risked their careers and their lives for a stranger. Adam's voice carried across space with absolute clarity. Today, humanity returns that favor. All ships weapons-free. Show them what happens when you threaten our friends. What followed would be taught in military academies for generations. The human fleet moved with precision that defied their numbers, thousands of ships acting as one organism. They didn't fire warning shots. They didn't demand surrender. The Wraith Collective had made their intentions clear, and humanity answered in kind. Railguns that could crack planets. Missiles that bent space itself. Energy weapons that burned hot as newborn stars. The humans had brought everything, held nothing back. Within 6 minutes, the Wraith siege fleet was debris. Within 10, the survivors were fleeing into hyperspace. Within 12, space around New Velka was clear, except for the massive human armada that now established a protective perimeter around the planet. Elena stood speechless as a shuttle request came through. Admiral Chen was asking permission to land. She met him at the landing platform, Ambassador Krell and what remained of the Colonial Council beside her. The man who emerged from the shuttle was older than she remembered, his hair touched with gray, his face marked by years of command, but his eyes held the same gentle curiosity. Elena. Adam smiled that same transforming smile. It's good to see you again. You brought 7 fleets, she managed. How did you even... We sent the beacon only 40 minutes ago. 43 minutes, Adam corrected gently. And yes, we moved fast. Had to break a few laws of physics to do it. He glanced at the sky where his armada waited. You saved my life 15 years ago. Did you think I forgot? I saved one person, Elena said, her voice breaking. You brought hundreds of thousands to save us. The risk, the resources, We have a saying, Adam interrupted, his expression serious. You saved it once, actually. A life saved is a debt that spans lifetimes. But we humans interpret it a bit differently. He gestured at the fleet above. We don't believe in proportional responses when it comes to our friends. You saved one of us, so we brought everyone. Ambassador Krell's crystalline form flickered with what might have been awe. Your people crossed light years, risked 7 fleets, and violated your own defensive protocols. For a colony of aliens? Adam looked at him with genuine confusion. No, sir. We did it for family. Later, as reconstruction began and the human fleet established a permanent garrison in the system, Elena found herself on the observation deck with Adam. Below, human engineers worked alongside Velkans, rebuilding what the Wraiths had destroyed. I never thought I'd see you again, she admitted. I certainly never imagined you'd become an admiral. Funny how life works. Adam smiled. Turns out nearly dying in space gave me a lot of credibility with fleet command. I spent the last 15 years making sure humanity had the capability to reach anyone, anywhere fast enough to matter. Called it the Rapid Response Initiative. You built an entire military program based on one rescue? I built it based on the principle that no one should die alone in the dark when help exists. That's what you taught me. He turned to face her fully. You saw a dying stranger and chose kindness over convenience. That's the galaxy I want to live in. One where that choice is always rewarded, never punished. Elena felt tears gathering in her eyes. You humans are insane. Completely, Adam agreed cheerfully. But we're loyal, and we never forget our debts. He offered his hand in the human gesture of friendship. Welcome to humanity's circle of protection. You saved one of us once. Now all of us will stand between you and anything that means you harm. That's the deal, take it or leave it. She took his hand, marveling at how warm human skin felt. Your people are going to start a lot of wars with this philosophy. Probably, Adam admitted. But we'll also make a lot of friends. And in the end, that's what matters, isn't it? Not how strong you are alone, but who stands with you when the darkness comes. Above them, 7 human fleets maintained their vigil, and across the galaxy, species that had thought themselves alone began to whisper a new truth. Humanity remembered. Humanity answered. And humanity never abandoned its own. One Velkan had saved one human, and an entire species had responded. That was the human way.